How is everyone doing today? And in this video, we are going to redo every single patch, which is talk about the unit coming up and also the banners surrounding them, talking about the value of each and every single banner in regards to what you possibly may want in the future. And realistically, I do think this patch is a little exciting, not only because they kind of play their own different teams or buff up certain teams or characters coming out in the future, but realistically there's just a lot to talk about when it comes to Yanagi and Lighter, and specifically Yanagi because that is the first character coming out in version 1.3. But going ahead and talking about our first character, which we're going to talk about, which I think is really important to talk about, is going to be Burnice. Right now, Burnice is in the game, and she, of course, is part of the anomaly playstyle. But the one thing that she has that many other characters don't have at the current moment is the off-field presence or the off-field value that a lot of these characters don't have at the current moment. She's currently the only character who is able to attack off-field, leave a status effect off-field, and also build up anomaly off-field, even more so with her ultimate being able to switch out while she's still doing her damage. There's a lot of really good stuff that comes out with Burnice, and realistically, if you are in any way, shape, and form going to be playing Anomaly, Burnice is definitely a character you want to have, because she, like I said right now, is the only character at the current moment who's able to do this, and that seems to be the case even for Yanagi and Lighter as well coming into the future. We don't know if any other characters will have a off-field presence in the future in coming patches, but realistically, when it comes to the priority list of summons that we are looking at, Burnice is definitely at the very top, without a doubt. And I can say this right now at the start of the video, she will be the character that I think everyone should pull versus all the other options at the current moment. Because yes, having the off-field presence that Burnice is able to give, and also being able to do the damage that she does, being able to have the easy anomaly build-up when she's on-field and off-field, and she's pretty easy to use, is overall just a really good look for the character. Now, when we're specifically looking at a character like Yanagi, this is where it gets a little tricky when it comes to talking about the value or the priority list for her and also Lighter, because we will be talking about him as well. And of course, we're going to be looking at most likely reruns coming in the future and some other characters coming out. So right now we're looking at section 6 Yanagi, and Yanagi will end up being a anomaly character that is built on spamming disorders as much as possible, because Yanagi is able to proc a disorder and keep the anomaly bar filled up, which is usually not the case. Now that's going to allow for some crazy disorders, that's going to allow for some crazy damage, but we have to remember what characters came out beforehand. And this is where it comes to people saving their J's or people selling their polychrome, because yes, I know that a lot of people are probably strapped for chrome or strapped for currency, and also the resources to build characters, period, which is a very big issue at the current moment in Zenless, is that it's really hard to keep up with the resources needed for these characters when it comes to leveling them up. And of course, we're getting more and more events, and even with 1.3 we're getting even more content, which is going to make it a little bit easier to get these resources to build out these characters. But realistically, when looking at Yanagi looks very, very strong when it comes to anomaly, and she's going to be part of that team where she's a little quick swappy, where she's going to want time on the field, you switch back to Burnice, give off that fire afterburn, and then you switch right back to Yanagi, and you're just non-stop disordering, which is going to be a really cool play style. Realistically, there are two ways you can look at this. One being, yes, she's a very strong character and a really good character at that, and somebody, I would say it's a pretty good pickup if you want an anomaly based DPS character. The only problem, a lot of people already picked up Jane, so that's already a spot filled up that people probably don't want to double dip into. Now, having double anomaly teams, I'm not gonna lie, that in all honesty is a pretty good setup to have, because anomaly, for the most part, you can do some really good damage. Just put one character or one team that does a certain main damage, like Jane is physical, Yanagi is electric. Put Jane on one team, put Yanagi on one team, and eventually we'll be able to build out both very easily, and you won't have to worry that much. So having a double anomaly team is pretty good. But since you've probably been playing since Ellen, and since having Zhu Yin, you probably already have these guys. You probably already have Ellen, or you probably already have Zhu Yin. And realistically, Yanagi, if you already have Jane, if you already have someone like Zhu Yin or Ellen, and possibly Jane could work with Yanagi, but if you have these three characters, you're most likely only looking for one more character. Or at that, you already have your two DPSs, which realistically At that point, if you have someone like Ellen, if you have someone like Juyin, you have someone like Jane, there's kind of no real reason to pick up Yanagi unless you really like Anomaly or you want to build a second Anomaly team, which in all honesty is a big team kind of to make. It's a really good team. Overall, Yanagi's just a really nice character, but if you already have multiple DPSs, the two teams that you potentially need right now, then you kind of don't need it, especially when there's a lot of other characters in the game at the current moment who are really good that aren't the premium characters, like Soldier 11 getting a bunch of buffs, like Nekomata getting a bunch of buffs. Piper is a really good character as well. There's so many good characters out in the game right now that Yanagi sadly is getting a little bit less and less value. Although she is a super strong character, I could definitely see her hitting somewhere in the top of the Anomaly DPSs 100%. The only problem is with all these DPSs coming out non-stop, we already have a lot of spots filled for her, which kind of saddening, but she's still a really nice character. And of course, going on to Yanagi, other teammate, or not other teammate, but Yanagi's other partner in the patch, which one thing as well, I will be making videos on Yanagi. I will be showcasing where I'll give my first impressions, all that different type of stuff, hopefully before her release. There's just been some stuff I've had to do. It's a lot of stuff I have to go on when talking about Zenless, and I'm just really excited for 1.3. And I usually like to hold off on a lot before the patch comes out, so my bad. But we will be getting a showcase off and first impressions off very soon, so please give me time on that. But looking at her next character, or the character that will be running alongside her in the same patch, will be Lighter. Now, Lighter is another cool character to look at, especially because right now Lighter seems to be buffing out characters rather than bringing a brand new archetype realistically, like someone like Yanagi would be doing, or building a team around Yanagi. Lighter's gonna be building out or buffing up characters like Ellen, like Soldier 11, especially because, man, Soldier 11 has been getting so many buffs as of recent, with Lucy coming into the fray. Burnice has been able to come inside, and now also having Lighter, who is a really good stunner, being able to stun very quickly, and not only that, is able to decrease ice and fire resistance. So any character in the future that's ice DPS, any character in the future that is fire DPS, Lighter technically gives them some value, and is definitely a good character to have on the team. Of course, this also runs into the question, what if I already have Chingy? What if I already have, who's the stunner on the character? Oh, Lycan. What if I have Chingy? What if I have Lycan? What if I have Koleda? And at that point, it really differs on how much damage are you doing or how well built your characters are. Because realistically, if you have someone like Koleda, who is a regular fire stunner, although very fast at fire stunning, Lighter seems to lose a little bit of value there, and it's kind of a double dipping situation where now there's nothing for your Koleda to do, but you now have Lighter in the game, which is definitely going to be giving some damage boost to someone like Ellen, someone like Soldier, someone like who else is fire? I'm trying to remember, but I can't get it on my head. But Soldier, Ellen, and also possibly Miyabi if she's still ice. There's a lot of stuff that comes with having Lighter on the team, but there is a chance you may double dip, especially when you already have someone like Lycan, when you already have someone like Koleda. You're kind of like taking their spot away from them in the same team, which is generally not what you want to do when you want to save as many polychromes as possible. So right now, realistically, Lighter does look like he's going to be near the bottom of the list when it comes to looking at a character and what you're possibly able to do within a team. If you really like Ellen or Soldier 11, or maybe you just like those elements period, then maybe Lighter's a good pickup, because he's definitely going to be a best in slot stunner for those teams without a doubt. But when it comes to value and when it comes to opportunity cost when saving your polychromes or wasting it on Lighter or using it on Lighter, it's a little bit hard when you're double dipping into the same situation. If you already have Lycan, if you already have Koleda, yes, he does have his own buffs that are going to be a little bit better than those characters, but at the current moment, when you're double dipping, you're kind of losing that option to build other teams, which we're gonna have to wait and see how that's gonna work out. If you are a fan of horizontal investment, then yes, Lighter is definitely the character for you, because he's gonna buff out Ellen, Soldier 11, all those characters that are within those elements. It's gonna be best in slot for a good minute, because other than that, you'd have to wait for another specific stunner to come out that is going to be basically taking Lighter's spot, and I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, because we'll probably get stunners for all the other elements in the same fashion. So realistically, if you like these characters like Ellen, like Soldier, you're definitely going to like Lighter. If you are looking towards an anomaly class type of team, you're definitely going to want Yanagi. And then of course, I do think everyone still should probably be going for Burnice in the future, realistically, because I think she has the most future-proof kit. and I do think she's by far one of the better characters in the game because of her off-field presence, which is very, very strong. But other than that, that's pretty much it going to be for this video when it comes to the things that you should consider before summoning on Yanagi. There's a lot of really great characters around. Not only that, 1.4 is on the horizon. As you may know, is very famous for REHOO to be giving us our first rerun, which means Ellen may be coming back in 1.4. And with Section 6 on the way with Yanagi, we might have a chance to see characters like Harumasa and also Miyabi come out very soon. So we're gonna have to wait and see how it's going to work. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Always in this video. See y'all guys in the next one, and peace.